Hey, welcome into the OutHouse, everybody, for lacing shit up. Episode number 2. Yeah, we got some new shoes flowing, so we're going to let you know about a couple new pairs we picked up. And is there a hip-hop renaissance? We think so, and we're going to let you know why. We're also doing our top 5 most influential West Coast hip-hop albums of all times. And that's to us, people, so don't get too pissed off at us about it. We also got a guest in the house tonight, Q.
Q
the Magnificent. What's
Welcome.
up, man?
Thank you guys.
Yeah,
Proud to
absolutely.
be here.
Thank you for driving. Thank you for coming. It's a pleasure to have you in the OutHouse.
Thank you. Thank you.
That's right, man. So I grabbed a couple new pairs of Jordans this last week, guys. I got 2 brand new pairs of Jordan 1s. I got the all royal in white. Oh, man, they're so, I don't know. They look like they go good with the Dodger hat, DM. Absolutely. I don't know why I just grabbed them, but they were, you don't find pairs of 1s like that for a good price, so I picked those up. Then I picked up some that look like the bread toe. You know what the bread toes are?
Yeah.
Yeah, the basically the ones Jordan wore on court his rookie year.
Why do they call it the bread toe?
I don't know. I'm not sure. Maybe because of the color of the toe.
Q, do you have a better answer?
I think the toe is black and
Yeah,
the
the
shoe is black and white and red.
Right.
With different colorway than like the Chicago would be.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's why
Or the black toe.
Yeah, that's
Oh, the red toe.
no bread toe.
Bread. Okay, so
Yeah.
yeah, I still.
Maybe it has something to do with the toe being red.
Yeah.
Hey, what's
It
up,
has the
Orange?
black and red.
Orange.
Black with a red toe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come on, I'm not even on
Oh
this
my-
fucking show. Jeez.
Orange comes out of the woodworks
Hey, man.
with the answer.
You never know how many of the shitheads had that same exact fucking question. All 3 of them might have been confused.
All 3 of them. At
All
the same
3 of
time,
them.
they were calling each other.
I'm
like,
so thankful there's 3 now that I get to use the word all, because before it was a
Hey, you.
I'm glad they get to tune in to find out what that means.
Duffman is starting a live video. Turn in now before it's over.
Yeah, Duffman doesn't have Facebook, so don't go there.
No, they do it on Instagram, man.
Oh, live videos?
Come on,
Oh,
it's
that's right.
2019 already.
Yeah, you can do anything
The
live.
new cars are
Cut him
coming
some
out.
slack. I didn't even know the thing had pictures on it the other day.
So anyway, my second pair, they look just like the bread toes, except they don't have the white on the side. It's all red where that white is.
Okay.
So they're like almost exactly the same shoe.
Yeah.
$160. So compared to what the bread toes cost,
Yeah.
you
Save your
try
money.
to buy those anywhere,
Save
you're
your
paying
money or
like
pay 'em.
$500.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So they're fresh.
Save your money. What did you say?
Or paint them.
Oh, right.
paying 'em?
I've seen people do that.
Yeah. I mean, a good
Like
custom-
really well.
Yeah, not sloppy white out, but some actual shoe paint.
And very steady hand.
Yeah,
like they
get it-
do it like they are
Yeah.
taking it seriously.
They do custom shit. Like, how long does that shit last on there? I mean, as long as you keep the shoe fucking good, I guess.
Yeah.
Kind of just like.
They have something called shoe paint. That's a real thing?
Yeah.
Well, it's,
Yeah.
is it specific to
That's what I
shoes?
think
It's like acrylic shoe paint, heavier duty with more vibrant colors.
Yeah, I follow a lot of people on Instagram
Yeah.
that do custom shoe work, you know, and it's got to come from somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that'd be a good idea to try to do it yourself.
Yeah.
I never tried. I like art. Duffman's a fucking hell of an artist, man. I mean,
I wish I had more time to do extracurricular hobby. I'm fortunate enough to have this and what we do with the radio show. I call it a radio show because whenever you have to explain it to an old person, well, what's a podcast?
That's exactly how you
is
describe
correct
it's
on
an
that, dude.
internet radio show. Next, and like so, I wish I could paint and do shit more, but this is cool, man. Do you do anything kind of like artistic like that, like music, art, drawing, video games? Is that where?
Yeah,
No.
video games, chill.
Yeah.
All my artistry goes towards the kids, man.
How many kids do you have?
I got 2.
Yeah. How old are your kids?
3 and 6.
3 and 6.
Yeah.
Oh, congratulations, boy, girl, boys, girls, both
Lucky
boys.
enough to have both boys, man.
Lucky enough.
right? I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna give you that for that, dude. Hell yeah. Yeah, you're right.
Orange told me, or I think you mentioned that you manage the Nike store in your area.
Yeah, I'm down in Vacaville.
that's dope.
Who better to talk sneakers with than the one who knows the most
Before the
about
joke
the
gets
Nike store?
before the joke gets too far away, I apologize,
Wasn't a joke.
but my sister had to marry another girl just so we had more females in his family. Because we're all boys. All my kids are boys.
Dude,
their kids are boys.
Hold on, look around this table. Does anybody have girls?
No, but we really want
No.
a girl for number 2. And I
Do
made
ya?
a stupid agreement early on that if number 2 wasn't a girl, we could go for number 3. And now after number
You
1,
fell for that?
it's all lovey-dovey and, it's cool. But you know what?
Is it,
Oh, is this the breakdown? Is
No,
this the
it's-
part where we start rapping?
no, man. I just wanted to throw something in the background. So we had it.
Can you freestyle rap?
Not really.
Okay, that's an honest answer.
We can have a little fun with that later.
If it
maybe.
was warranted. But
If you feel up to the challenge, Duff Man, you can step up to the mic.
Are you challenging me?
Maybe. I haven't done it in a while. Probably since the last time we did it.
Okay.
So, and I think we were drinking pretty heavily last show, weren't we?
I think you rap better when you're sober. Not you, I mean just people in general.
Oh yeah. That's what I'm saying.
People perform more better at life when they're sober.
Right.
Just generally, as a general rule, if you drink alcohol, you're going to do something more sloppier and at a less better level than you would if you were just maybe even smoking weed.
Fuck yeah.
That's what's cool about smoking weed is it gives you the head change, it gives you the peace, it gives you a level of intoxicant, which is hard to use when everyone's like, oh, it's medicine, but medicine dumbs you down and sometimes worse. Can't drive or operate heavy machinery on some of the prescription pills they give you.
I had a hangover most of the day until I fucking felt like smoking. Take a little hit, feel a lot better.
Did you hear what the DEA put in for this year? They've asked for 5 times as much federally legally grown marijuana for testing to try to help, because I think they're starting to finally fucking realize that they need to start testing it because there's real medicinal qualities to it.
Absolutely there is. And hey,
like we need to use this plant better and like find out.
Their big mandate this year was more weed, less opiates. They literally said cut all opiates by 10% nationwide.
That's a great thing. So the fentanyl thing, we were talking, and not to get too much off topic, obviously this isn't a drug show, but you had talked about the fentanyl. That's what killed Prince. You thought it was Michael Jackson. It wasn't Michael Jackson. It was somebody else, but it also killed somebody. Tom Petty. It killed Tom Petty.
Really?
Demi Lovato just with the heroin overdose they were talking about. She had some like oxys, and they were laced with the fentanyl, and that's what sent her into overdose. Jesus. And then I saw a news headline on the Apple News or whatever, and it was like the first time fentanyl was used as a lethal injection for somebody on death row.
In Ohio, I think.
Yeah, and I was like, what the fuck?
Are you kidding me?
Like, how... when anybody died from lethal injection back in the day, I'm pretty sure we didn't have access to whatever was in that syringe unless it was Windex.
It's coming from China.
Like, you know what I mean? Like,
that's bad.
It's coming from China.
How can that be confused with like a dope sack to the lethal injection method at a fucking prison?
Hey man, kids eat Tide Pods.
I'm glad that fad was over.
Right, but they did it.
I used to just like maybe like jack off more than I should have. Or like, you're gonna
go blind if you keep doing that, Duff Man.
One time I took like a full shit in the backyard. But
for the hell of it, or were you locked out? Like, I hope you were locked out, man.
I was hella high, and I was like, I think this is a good idea. Like, I'll be all in nature, and I'm high and in the backyard, and I was just feeling free, and I went out and shit in the backyard. So I'm like cool, and then I had to go to class, and I went to AR, and it was a 5-minute drive from my house, American River Community College in Carmichael. And I'm sitting out there, and I'm smoking weed before my class, and I'm about ready to get up because it's go time. I push everything to the last minute, then you got to get in the car, and you got to go. Dog comes running around the corner from the back of the house, all covered in my shit. And I was like, what the fuck? It smelled it and rolled around in it. And I was like, I'm not making this class. So I'm out there with the hose, hosing this fucking dog off and trying to like wash the dog, all like stupidly stoned, wash the poop off of my dog. And I did a horrible job at it. And later that weekend, we're cooking out in the backyard or whatever. The mom's like, Cash, you need a bath. She's just like, your hair's all like matted and greasy. And I'm just like, and it's just an asshole. I kind of chuckled and I was like, hey, he does need a bath. I think he kind of stinks too. And that was Deep Dark Secrets by Duffman on this week's LSU.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Oh, we went and saw DJ Quick last week.
Yeah, I don't know if you want to talk about that.
Yeah, well.
What happened?
Yeah, why are you so down about it? Just, are you not impressed? My friends left, dude. My friends left.
There was a lot of negative energy at that show that evening for how we found the secret patio in the backyard, which was amazing.
That was nice, actually, yeah.
And I was like, this is cool. And I was making friends with people and whatever. We ended up smoking blunts and stuff. But then it was just like a super ugly vibe on the inside of the show. and like people were throwing up on the floor, and they waited way too long to go on, and that happens
absolutely.
at a lot of fucking shows. But like they waited way too long to fucking go on to because they're trying to sell drinks. And then the people in the green room are also getting ready. Everybody knows the green room is like the waiting room for the artist before you perform a show. And that's where you drink your drink and smoke your smoke and do whatever you're going to do. Get local dick sucks and shit, I assume. and you know, it's cool and all,
right,
but like one time Nas kept us waiting at the Colonial Theater till like fucking 11:45. And a rumor started circulating around like he's in a flight. He's on a flight. He's coming from another show and shit. And I'm just like, somebody needs to manage the calendar better, motherfucker, because it's like our time's important too, but like people always kind of shit on SAC, like it's just fucking SAC.
Right.
I'll get there when
I've seen some really good shows here.
I was drunk. I don't remember like as
He
much
was drunk.
as I wish.
I was drunk too.
But I didn't think it sounded very good at all.
Just the sound in general at Harlow's.
There was one time where
terrible.
he
They
started-
need a professional guy coming in and fucking actually.
There was a sound guy in the
sounding out
beginning,
the
but
shit.
he fucking left, and I almost think he left because they waited too long to come on. It wasn't until like 10:30 he came out.
Right.
10:45.
Sound guy was like, "Fuck this."
And so he left. He's like, "Well, you're gonna stop paying me. I'm gonna stop managing the sound." He just marched off. And
Man,
there was
it was
one
bad, bro.
DJ
Like
Quick
that.
starts opening a record. He starts scratching and
Yeah.
shit, but the levels were all fucked up. He was literally tearing the speakers apart in a bad way. It was just like.
I work hard here to get the microphones where they should be.
I just think
leveled.
people need to mic check more. Sugar Free
Right.
sounded like shit.
Shit.
One of my favorite hip hop moments is Sugar Free beating on the table and rapping at the same time
With the
in
pencils and shit. And
in
like,
the East Siders video, the Snoop
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
And I was
Classic.
like, that movie, they made that movie, and I forgot what it was called, but it was like, I had the DVD. It was like when they were doing Welcome to the Church, and it was like Trey D and Goldie Loke, and then they had this movie, and Sugar Free was in the jail at the table, banging on the table and rapping. It was some of the coolest shit. And I was like so excited to see this guy, but I couldn't hear a fucking word. Not one fucking word, and it was super quiet. And I'm like, all right, that's cool. If you rap quiet and you rap quickly and eloquently, that's wonderful, but just turn the mic up. Just give me the finger. I need to peek. Like I was trying to demonstrate to you guys earlier, like all the rappers face fuck their mics too. Yeah, and everybody holds it around here, and you're not technically supposed to hold it right here because it blocks all of the sound. But I was just doing that, and you can hear me. And even if I had to rap real close and quick like Sugar Free, it would still sound good, to you, to me. Like, how come it sounded so bad? And you made me wait so long to sound so bad. It was cool to see DJ Quick right there, like right by that fan, and to see him and all that. But the vibe was off. The show was off. I bet you there's somebody that probably has a similar recollection of the show, and maybe theirs is better. And again, that just might be my alcoholism. But I just remember a lot of bad vibes that night, and shit wasn't popping.
Yeah, it was a weird scene, and it wasn't that good of a show. That's all. I like some of the songs, of course, that he played, that I could tell what song it was.
Well, I was glad. Other people might call this as call this an error or whatever, but they were billing it as the 20th anniversary of Rhythmalism, and that he was going to do the whole song or the whole album from cover to cover. And I was like, well, that's not necessarily my favorite DJ Quick album. I hope he does a lot of other songs too. But he did all other songs. There was everything was just like
there was no
going.
Rhythmalism fucking from front to back. That's
which was good.
Quick is the name anyway.
Right?
Yeah.
So they were doing that, and he was doing Balance and Options. He was doing radio hits like those ones with Dr. Dre, like that one with that Middle Eastern sample. And I forgot all about that song until they dropped it, and it was fucking awesome.
Right.
But
That's
I don't
a
know.
great song.
It was cool, but maybe it was just the time. It wasn't cool to me.
Yeah, so Quick, if you hear this, man, keep your sound guy on there. Get out on time. Stop getting fucked up and dick sucked in the back. And do the show.
Don't stop doing that.
Well, just do it on time.
Just
you know what I
mic
mean?
check. Just everybody needs to mic check, and a veteran should know. And maybe he thought it was. I don't know. I wonder about that sometimes. I'm like, well, are the monitor? Is it cool on the monitors? But is it like I don't know why they're not the same.
It didn't sound good.
It didn't sound good at
Sound
all.
good. That might be the last show I go see at Harlow's.
I've seen some really good shows at Harlow's
Really?
actually, so that's why I can't. And they got fucking amazing tacos and amazing pizza. I was bummed I didn't actually order, and that was one of the reasons why I was super excited to find the secret patio in the back. People were ordering off menus and sitting there. There were some people that were out there the whole night because we kept going back and forth between. And
Sacramento's classy.
It's a classy shitty bar. I would see another. Actually, I'm trying to stop doing shit. I'm trying to stop buying tickets, and we just go to too many events. And I just really need some downtime. I feel like I'm way too fucking busy. Scarface. We're going to talk later about West Coast hip hop and shit. But we've mentioned Southern hip hop. Texas Scarface is going to be at Harlow's this Thursday. And it's a Thursday, and it's like I just got done off that one. But
Sounds like you want to go.
I would love to see Scarface. Scarface actually came last year. He was at the Boardwalk in Orangevale, which recently shut down all hip-hop. They won't allow hip-hop shows there anymore because I guess there was a shooting last week.
Really?
It really is a hip-hop renaissance. It's like 96 all over again. Somebody got shot out front of a no-name rap concert in Orangevale.
Right.
And now they won't let hip-hop in. There was a time where they wouldn't even let us into clubs with our ball caps.
Yeah.
Just because some affiliation and dress code was super enforced. But now people don't give a fuck. I was getting anxiety waiting in line because I was wearing my hat and I had some Jordans on, those ones that I stepped in the vomit. And some bitch puked.
Was it at that show?
Bitch puked and fucking like right in front of the sound.
I like how you thought of a
fuck
better
that.
way to find that, and you're like,
Yeah.
fuck
How did I
that.
not notice any of that shit going down?
Well,
I must
like-
have been fucked up, dude.
You guys tried to warn me, so I come walking up. I come walking through, and I go to step, and like a whole gang of people. It was like a scene from a movie. They're all, no! Right as I like step into the vomit, and you get that slide. Like that could have been bad, but luckily I just. And then I I
I played it off.
was able to slide my foot to stop so I didn't slip in it. And maybe I was so happy that that happened that I was just like, oh, and then everybody cheered.
You found the positive in stepping in some puke.
I
That's
saw
for
those
sure.
Jordans sitting on the carpet, and I was like, oh my God, those are the vomit shoes. I'm like scared to pick them up. I let them sit there for a whole day. I was scared to pick them up. I was like, the damage is done. I went and picked them up on Monday.
sprayed 'em off, man.
I was super hungover on Sunday, so I just kind of left them there. That was part of it. And I went and looked at them, and they were gone. You couldn't tell. And I was like, did I mysteriously clean my shoes in the night? I very well could have, because Nikki said I was sleeping in the backyard for a while, and I didn't recognize that at all, or recollect that at all. I think I went, the lounger joint, the little meditation
Oh, yeah,
thing.
you went and took a nap?
I went and slept in the hammock. She's like, where you been? She said,
This
all
is
you
your
said was,
Uber.
sleep outside.
Wake up. This is your Uber.
Sleep outside. Oh, I've fallen asleep in the Uber before.
I know. This is your Uber.
So, Q, man.
What's up?
What up, man? So he lives in Vacaville.
I do.
Came down to Sacramento area where we're,
Yeah.
Based out of. Nice to be on the show.
Thank you.
Yeah, now I heard Duffman mention this earlier. You manage
Well, I
Nike.
don't manage. I work there right now.
Okay, you work
looking
there.
for future management.
He's about to be a
opportunities.
management.
okay.
Damn it.
Yeah.
We gonna make it management after this shit. You're gonna
Those
hear lacing shit
LeBrons
up.
that you have are fucking sick.
Man, they're super comfortable. Like
Are they?
I've always liked LeBrons.
Yeah.
I was iffy on these, but a buddy of mine who, I trust his opinion on shoes. He said they're super comfortable, and I like my KDs. I have a ton of KDs.
That's what I
89s,
like.
That's
10s.
this guy's
I
fucking
love the
poison.
KDs.
Well, I mean, they have the same Zoom Air all along the bottom, and then
Right.
Air Max like on the heel. So
Yeah.
it's like it fits the same, feels the same, just a little higher.
That's cool.
They're high tops, right?
Yeah.
Like let me
Those
check
ones
it out.
are sick.
Check 'em out.
Those are the newest ones, right?
It's like a fly knit too.
Yeah, it's a thicker
dude, that
than
looks
fly
super
knit. It's
comfy.
called battle knit.
Battle
Battle
knit?
knit.
That's the
What I'm
new
saying?
shit.
Yeah, that's that battle knit.
Oh man.
Yeah.
That's dope.
Those are the new ones, though, right?
Yeah.
The newest ones.
Well,
what number are we up to with LeBrons?
I think 16s are yet to be released. So
Okay.
Yeah.
So those are 15s.
yeah, these are 15s.
What is the deal with the Jordans? So the Jordans are on. What's the year they're at? The Jordans. Is it 32 or 36?
We're gonna be at 33 this year.
So last one was 32.
Yeah.
Fucking awesome. What's up with the Jordan sneakers that aren't official numbered in continuity with the Jordans? So like
So with
those ones
Jordans-
that I slipped in the vomit were Jordan Academy.
Okay.
But they're not
Okay,
Jordan
that's why
like.
you slipped. You gotta get you some retros, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Well, no, they were cool. I liked them. They
like
had them in
that
the
one.
window.
Hell this.
They're
Yeah.
cool for me. I like them. They're cool, but they're not like they're not in the sequential order of
Yeah.
the Jordans. So I was like, well, does that even count? It's like Jordan brand.
So when it comes to sequential Jordans, basically after the Jordan 11, that's when they made the Jordan brand. Everything up to the Jordan 11s was Nike, like Nike brand Jordan. Jordan,
Right.
Was the endorsement. At the number 12, that's when they came out with Jordan brand. So now you
Okay,
have
so
Jordan
what year was
brand.
that? Because this might be the only
was that?
part
Had
of
to
this
been like
conversation I'll
97
be
or 8, right?
relevant to it all.
97 or
Yeah, he
98 or
retired-
something.
What year did you retire the first time?
96.
96?
No.
And
No,
he-
'cause
he-
they had that
94.
It was
I'm just guessing.
really. I was gonna say
No,
like
because the
98.
Rockets won in 94, 95, and 95, 96.
They remember those Pippins?
So I would say he retired in
With the-
94.
You know, like the Pippins, like
Pippen had a shoe.
that was like
Yeah.
98.
Yeah.
Oh, the whole basketball team.
Yeah.
Oh no,
had
Pippen had the one
Pippins
with the
in
Nike with the
Yeah.
swoosh on the toe, right?
No,
Those
it
are
wasn't
Pippins,
on the.
right?
It was like this.
My favorites were the Barclays.
Oh, those are dope.
With the
they
strap
re-released
that came
those a
over.
little
We
while
wore
ago,
those
I
my
think.
sophomore year of high school for the basketball team. That was our official shoot.
Really?
With that strap. Oh, I loved it.
Oh, so you were on a basketball team and everybody got the Barclays?
Everybody? Pretty much.
Pretty much. Our school did it with the Pippins at one time. But anyway, continue.
So yeah, after the 12s, Jordan Brand is just like Nike Brand at this point, still under the Nike umbrella.
Right.
But there's Jordan Brand, there's Jordan Retros, and then like after around that same time when they had the 12s, that's when they had like who they have, not Vince Carter, but
Tracy McGrady?
no, lost it.
Not Grandmama. That was Converse.
No, yeah, that was Converse. Anyway, that's when they came out with the Jordan Pro Quick, the Jordan Pro Strong.
Yeah, just different branches
Yeah,
of
different
shoe.
branches.
So,
So
they
now
don't necessarily
Jordan Brand,
fall into
yeah,
the
retro
order
category.
of the
So what do you call
Release.
the ones that? And so the retros are like when you bought those ones you were just talking about. You got the red.
the ones I'm wearing right now. These are retros. Space Jams.
Yeah,
So any of the re-releases are retros.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
yeah.
That's cool.
And do you know how often they going like in order as they re-release them?
They used to, like every so often. I mean, at this point with so many shoes, every
Yeah.
year is a re-anniversary.
Right.
So with like the
Like
31s,
every
the
10 years.
32s, both were inspired by the original 1s and 2s. So with the
Oh.
33s, you're going to see a lot of Jordan 3 inspiring on the Jordan 33s.
This guy's filled with fucking knowledge.
No, that's
This
why
is
I-
awesome.
I-
I told you.
Right, yeah.
Absolutely. Hey, man,
Really
yeah,
excited
we
about
got
the shoe.
Yeah, that's
Here.
cool, man. Thanks for explaining all that. because-
Cue the
Might have to become a
magnificent.
permanent
Yeah.
host. Like
Yeah.
he's got all the knowledge.
right?
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome, brother.
Come through as much as you want, man.
So we got a hip hop renaissance kind of happening these days, right?
I feel like there is, and it's really easy for somebody coming up the golden era or whatever we call it. How old are you, real quick?
37.
Perfect. I'm going to be 37 this year, so
Right.
this is
Me too.
amazing. This
Happy
is
early birthday.
Thanks.
I got
Not
a
till
month
December, but yeah.
I'm older than you.
Happy
Oh,
late
shit.
birthday to you. No.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? I hope you had a good birthday last year. And orange.
And if I don't see you next year, have a good one that year.
Are you trying to get out of my birthday now? Like
Already.
in
I
August?
can't, yeah.
I feel like there has been like a lot of the old heads that we really liked are still making music.
Right.
There, Method Man and Redman each have a new single out right now. That is fire.
Separately, right?
Separate.
Yeah,
Separate.
You're always sending me Redman shit, or we're sending each other.
Yeah, well
shit
then
that
and
we
then
see on Instagram, and
Method Man is, in my opinion, a little less active because he's doing a lot more acting.
Right.
So Redman is still more hip hop and whatnot. And then so when the Redman single came out, it was like, cool, you've only been teasing this Muddy Waters album for like 7 years.
Yeah.
It's like it's the East Coast equivalent of the fucking Detox. You know
yeah,
what I mean?
exactly. It's
And-
never gonna actually happen.
But then when the Method Man single came out, just like I checked Thursday night because East Coast, at midnight on Thursday night, it's Friday, and that's when the new shit drops most of the time. So I was checking my phone and I was like, what do you mean Method Man? Like, that's not real. I clicked it and sure as shit is. It's a Method Man single. He's going to release another Meth Lab mixtape. And I was like, that's fucking great. That's happening right now. There's a lot of good shit that's the shit that Kanye did. I know a lot of people hate Kanye for whatever reason, and that's cool.
It's just his ignorance.
The shit that he did, though, it was so hip-hop. He released 5 albums in 5 weeks, and he produced or executive produced all of those. He's got a whole team, just like fucking Dr. Dre. Everything is a big collaborative effort, just like a lot of the most successful musicians' shit is anyway. And nobody does that shit anymore. When even back to him when he was doing the Good Fridays, and this was a few years ago, and before he was leading up to the Dark Twisted Fantasy album, he was doing every Friday he would release like a song or two from the process, and the album ended up being a bunch of those songs. Actually,
That's how we got Mercy, right?
that was one of them. That was when they tried to do Good Fridays 2.
Yeah.
So he tried to do Good Fridays again, and I was losing my shit.
Right.
And Mercy came from that, which ended up on the is it Cruel Summer or Cruel Winter? Whatever that
Cruel Winter, I think.
Cool Winter is the compilation album.
Yeah.
The white one with the statue on it and all that shit. That one. So and then they were rumored to do Cruel Summer. Like they were going to do that again, another compilation, but they didn't do it or they haven't done it yet. This was like the next thing closest to it. It was like, I'm going to take all these people and I'm going to do 5 albums in 5 weeks, and I'm going to produce all of them. That's all going to be the sound. And it was different, and nobody's doing that shit anymore. So he released Pusha T's album, which is actually really great. The beats and the music on all of these albums, big credit to Mike Dean. Mike Dean is a super producer. He's been around for 100 fucking years. He's done a lot of Scarface, a lot of Ghetto Boys. I was a big fan of Daz Dillinger for the longest time. He did a lot of the Daz Dillinger records after he left L.A. and Death Row with $300 and an ounce in his pocket and went up to Sacramento. Started fucking with like Lynch and all those type of people. And there was somebody. Anyway, fucking
Mike Dean.
Mike Dean produces all the Kanye shit since the Dark Twisted Fan in conjunction with him. He's on the team.
That's dope.
So it's like I'm a producer, and then I got like somebody way better than me in the house making sure the beats are right, and we're collaborating on it and then making these records. And
Here, now try this.
we can pick all of these. That's how DJ Khaled does it. I was like, what does DJ Khaled actually do?
He yells.
Nothing.
Yells. No, I was gonna beat you. Come on, man! I don't gonna know a number to these fresh. You gotta let me chip in when
All right,
I
just
can.
hold on. Just say it. Go quiet and then say
I'm
it.
fucking with
What
you.
what does DJ Khaled actually do?
He just grabs other people's shit and puts it together in a new arrangement.
Oh, I thought you
Am
were.
I right? I don't know.
I
He
thought you were
yells.
gonna
Oh
say nothing.
no. I think it's funnier when I whined about it.
He's only here to whine, folks.
No, that
and then
works
so
too.
he doesn't get fined.
It's just cool. We've got Eminem still spitting fire bars. Snoop still releasing music. He reinvents himself all the time. I wanted to bring up another OG that released a cool song. I'll play you a snippet from that later. J. Cole, as far as one of the new people, I'm going to see J. Cole on the 4th.
Well, it's because he's actually puts feeling and thought into his music.
I feel
that's
like-
what I think it all comes down to. Is you got to put what you're in your heart. You can't just these guys coming out screaming. I can't handle it, most of it. But
What do you guys think? I mean, do you guys think I'm crazy, or who
No.
do you guys like? What do you guys
Can
like
I
about?
can I ask a quick question?
Yeah.
Because I don't really know what the fuck you're talking about because I didn't know that we're in the middle of a renaissance. But it doesn't sound like a renaissance to me. It sounds like people you really liked when you were young are relevant again.
It's
It's not really a renaissance. It's just the old. Like to me, a renaissance would mean that there's new artists.
Well, there are. That's what I was trying to say.
Oh, okay.
So there's
Because I
Kendrick,
don't know.
there's
do we even
J.
really
Cole.
know if they're relevant or they're relevant to us?
Yeah.
So how relevant are they in the bigger sculpture of things? We don't really know that. I don't think I know that. Fuck.
What do you think?
I think it's hard to consider J. Cole, Kendrick like a renaissance because at this point they've been not as long as our favorite artists, but they've been
around
8,
for a while.
Years,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
4
And putting out
albums,
good
5
shit for
albums
that
deep,
long.
Yeah, at that expectation.
Right.
Right.
Exactly.
So they, more than qualified to be new favorites.
Yeah.
But as far as the renaissance, I think they're part of their renaissance. There's newer guys like the Pumps and Lil Uzis and all those guys,
Right.
that are, repetitive in a lot of ways,
Right.
yelling in a lot of ways that, still ain't been proven because it was 3 years maybe.
Yeah.
Yep.
For like Lil Uzi Vert at the longest. Everybody else.
But who really controls that scene?
Yeah.
It's the 15 and 16-year-olds,
Yeah.
And maybe that's why we don't know because it's not relevant to us as older folks,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
older heads.
We ain't
you know?
checking for that.
We're not checking for it.
the face
Exactly.
tattoos are getting to be a little much for
Well,
me. Man.
you
That's why.
obviously seem to know a little bit more about the younger ones than me. Who would you say now would be able to or have the best potential to be like a J. Cole and a Kendrick in the next 3 years?
I would.
That's
hold
out
on.
right
I
now.
want to just say Travis Scott. I
Oh,
like
yeah.
him.
Travis
Scott
Scott.
blew
He's
out the
dope.
water.
The new album
He's
is
dope.
actually fire.
Yeah.
Right? I had the Birds in the Trap one, and then I'd only heard him on several features and shit before then. But then I got the Astro World one, and I was listening to that, and I was like, this is actually pretty cool.
Yeah, I saw a
actually
funny
pretty
ass
cool.
meme with him. It said the dopest rapper with the whitest name.
Yeah.
Travis Scott.
Travis
Have you
Oh,
guys
yeah.
have you guys seen that meme? And it shows like Travis Scott like screaming and his braids are popped. I hate Travis Scott's braids. Think this is what Kylie Jenner sees during Missionary. And then it shows another picture of him just like this, and then the braids sticking out. And I was like, oh shit, but fucking winning. Like I don't know.
Yeah, he's dope.
Like that guy's awesome.
I don't
Who
know.
else is super cool that's young from the let's give some more respect to the new kids. Like we saw Travis Scott.
Yeah.
We saw him and did you go to the one at the Oracle with Kendrick?
No.
So Kendrick was at the Oracle and Travis Scott opened for him and he was like flying around on an eagle. Like, Kanye had the floating stage
Yeah.
and the stage would like float from
Who's
here to
flying
there.
on an eagle?
This dude had a floating stage, but it was like an eagle or
Oh, that's
And
That's
he was
fucking
just
sick.
standing on this thing, and he was holding it, and it would fly over to this side of the arena, and it would fly over to this side of the arena, and I was just like, "What the fuck?"
On an
that's-
eagle.
I think it was an eagle.
That's your money's worth.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
pretty
I'd rather
cool.
see that than somebody running out of breath, like, halfway through a song.
Oh,
Yeah.
exactly.
That's why DJ Khaled don't rap with his fat ass.
Exactly.
I can't do it. Physically challenging DJ Khaled. We the fattest. No. Oh, whatever.
Oh, okay, fellas. I think it's time to move on to the top 5 most influential West Coast albums of all time. That's according to us. Yell at me on Twitter. Yell at Duffman
I'm gonna give
on
you a
Twitter.
cut job for no reason here, but is most influential better than saying favorite? Like, are you guys gonna actually argue about why it's influential? Or are we
Yes.
just gonna argue about why we fucking think it's dope?
I think
I want.
I'm asking an honest
Well,
question.
I kind of want to explain it, like how it's influential to me, and what
Okay.
influential.
Because I don't know
to us
nothing
as
about
individuals.
influential. I'm gonna argue the fuck out about why I think they're cool because of who I was probably banging at
Saying
the time.
it's semantic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Janet,
that's perfect.
influential to me, man.
Shyla.
Influential.
I can name them all.
That's one thing that music is cool. How it can just trigger like a crazy memory or a recollection of time, or like.
Sorry to fuck your shit up, but
No,
I
no,
wanted.
you're good.
I thought maybe it was something.
No, you're good.
We're just trying to sound smart.
It's just a small intro, sir. So I think Duffman, we'll just go down our lists. 5. You do 5. I'll
Did
do
you
4.
happen to write anything
Did
down?
you write
Q?
something down, Q?
I didn't write anything down. Kind of
But you
thought
got
of a
it.
few things, and I see a lot of the things I was thinking.
Uh-huh.
On the list,
So
Right.
feel free to comment.
Oh
feel
yeah,
free to
my
say,
list isn't that different.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just
Right.
A little bit.
yeah,
as you go through, I'll chime in.
exactly. Perfect. Both of you.
Well, hey, my number 5, coming in number 5, might be a little bit of a, I don't know, hell, I'd say underground classic. I don't know how many people listen to this on the East Coast because it's not that big.
Everyone's
Loonies.
heard the songs.
Yeah, I got 5 on it. Loonies, Operation Stackola. I got 5 on it. It's classic.
Yeah.
Everybody knows that beat.
I think that's one of the biggest songs of that era. Is I Got 5 on it, and I
Yes.
remember everybody was on the 5 on it
Can
remix.
Can I make my one comment to this conversation?
Yeah.
That the best version of that song's not from that album.
Oh, the
Is it
remix?
the
Yeah.
remix
With E40.
The Bay Area
yeah,
remix is
yeah.
the best version of that
They
song.
play
by
that more
lots
times
more.
on the radio.
Oh,
than
I
they
don't
do
even
the
listen to the
original.
original anymore. If I want to listen to it, I listen to the remix.
Right.
See,
Every
that
time.
was the first of a song at that time. You know what I'm saying? As far as
Yeah.
the remix with
Oh,
that many
dude,
people.
that
and then
was
there got that time
right.
when everyone
You're
was
right.
on the Bay Area
You're
remix.
right.
Rich was
And
on
even
it.
songs
I
like
love
today,
Richie
like
Rich.
DJ Khaled, let me get, Lil Wayne, Chance the Rapper.
Right.
Quavo,
Yeah, if your
the
song's a
same
hit,
formula.
you can get fucking 12 people
Yeah.
on it. You know what I mean?
Everything's
Nowadays.
a compilation.
And that was
Yeah.
one of the first ones
They
to do
even
it.
had
That's a good
Humpty.
point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I miss good
That's my
compilations.
favorite good ones.
Yeah.
What?
Those used
Good compilation
Compilations.
albums.
Oh.
Cell Block compilation, the Rompilation.
I was telling these guys not too
West
long ago.
Coast Bad
West Coast Bad
Boys.
Boys 2 was my favorite.
Dude,
I remember
yeah.
that one. I had that one.
Yeah, so that was big for
Black
me.
Market compilation.
I even remember the album art on this with the fucking condom holding the gun. Did you
Yeah.
you ever see that?
But it was like drawn.
Right,
It was like
it was an- yeah, it was a
illustration.
hand artwork.
And that was the Loonies logo for like
Yeah.
ever.
exactly.
Yeah.
And that was very classic to me.
I
So-
like the Loonies. That latest Loonies album I thought was kind of that was just disappointing. Like I expect more from that. And then Yuck Mouth went through his whole after Tupac phase, and he was all Yuck Mouth, like,
Yeah.
and then like
Kinda
he went
changed a little
way
bit,
hard,
yeah.
and like that. What was that one double album he had with the Regime and that
Oh,
that one song? I got some killers on the payroll. That one with the mandolin and shit, and it sounds like the interview with the vampire music. It's fucking crazy. Some of those
Godzilla?
shit- It was before Godzilla. The Rapulation or something like that.
thugged out the
Thugged out the
Yeah.
the
albulation.
the albulation, yeah.
Abulation, that's
We
it.
used to bang that shit. And
Yeah.
I think of the Loonies is
Still balling.
it's still balling and shit.
Right?
It was like some fucking. It was
So are we
going
going to go through your whole list,
No.
or are we going to
Oh,
let
go
everybody
ahead.
throw in? Okay.
Go ahead. DM, what's your number 5, bud?
Oh, let's just. I picked. I went regional for me. And regional for me was Sacramento Season of the Sickness, Brother Lynch hung. Season of the Sickness and Brother Lynch. That record was so. When we were at our grimiest shit, and we were like stirring up shit, and we were like getting in fights, and we were slanging weed, and
Yep.
we were drinking underage and getting crazy, and
That's
like
the
when we were
soundtrack of the sickness right
that
there.
was it. That was the soundtrack for like junior, sophomore year. Like we thought we were grown and we were being stupid and we
That's
were
right.
just all testosterone.
I was right
out.
at the same spot,
And
brother.
it was like the hardest shit.
Same
The
spot.
baby killer.
Yep.
Nuts and guts and that whole like rippity rap rap, like that whole flow, that whole like Eminem,
Coming up that
Tech
high,
Nine.
it's a double tech.
Lynch
Yeah, oh,
was
man.
the originator of that
Ooh.
shit to me. A lot of people was always rapping fast, but like
you
that
know, we
shit
were-
was menacing with
We
the
were
syllables.
at a bar in Roseville, and the DJ, there was like hardly anybody there, right? This DJ was a local guy. Started playing that shit.
Oh, hell no.
Season of the Sickness. Yeah,
Yeah,
dude. He started
dang.
playing fucking, what is it? Loke to the Brain.
Oh.
Yeah.
And everybody
He
started in there
started
was going
fighting.
crazy.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, people
Low to the
losing
brain
mind.
ain't a friendly song.
Right. But it's
Right?
a dope ass song.
Oh, I agree. I agree.
It's like
and it's, what, 20-something years old?
like
It's
the
not like,
Metallica of hip hop. It's like that's like death
Yeah,
metal
that's a good-
hip hop.
that's a good
like
call.
Brother
Yeah.
Lynch.
I like
know
that.
And then the
though?
Loaded album came out, and it was like a little more slowed down, but it
Yeah.
was like,
Right.
Loaded had a lot of people on there too.
yeah, that was almost
Yeah,
like a
yeah,
compli-
the song
but
with
that was
Ice-T,
almost like
I
a
remember
Chronic.
it was
How
tight.
Dre does it, like
Yeah.
you know, you get all these different pieces. Like, oh man, so my 5 goes to Brother Lynch. Man, he was a big influence on me. So
So, Q, if you had a number 5,
Uh,
you're last, buddy. What are you throwing your hands up over there, mister?
was ready.
Only chime in when I need
let
it.
him do it. We'll go in a circle like a spliff. Get to orange and then Q's to
All
the
right,
right.
O. The big O.
All right.
Number 5, buddy.
For my number 5, I'm going with Sex Packets from Digital Underground.
Thank you.
Wow. that's a good
Thank
one.
you. I was trying to think in my head. It's fuck list, first of all. Fuck short list. Your list can change tomorrow,
Yeah.
just depending on your mood. There's so much. It's hard
That's
to
right.
put everything in such a little box. I'm a very out of the box type of thinker type of guy. I was thinking I needed to put another honorable mention for Digital fucking Underground. I actually wrote it down right here, and that's probably where Orange got the idea because he saw my wife.
Oh, no, not
No.
true whatsoever. Because if you put on underwater rhymes right now, I'll kill it. I listen to fucking that all the time.
Really?
I love Digital Underground, and why I didn't know we were doing influential, thought we were doing favorites. But I can make the argument
Same
that it
shit.
was influential for a lot of reasons because it was a gap between what hip hop was and then the gangster rap. And it kind of, I think for some people, at least for me, like legitimized Tupac a lot.
It was
Oh,
fun.
are you kidding? Digital
Right?
Remember
Underground.
Nothing But Trouble?
Oh,
Fully
yeah,
put
dude.
together.
Tupac was
Digital
young,
Underground
bro.
was, hey, they was in the movies.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So good. So it wasn't just me because I didn't know if that would be a good take on it. But that's where my
It's-
feeling on
What-
Digital Underground came
What was
from.
that movie
Love.
they were in?
Nothing
He
but
just said
trouble.
nothing but
Yeah,
trouble.
Nothing but trouble.
Yeah.
Was that the
With
one?
Dan Aykroyd
It
and
was like
Demi
a kind of
Moore.
horror,
Yeah.
horror comedy.
Yard
It
and
was-
those like
yeah.
monsters
Yeah.
and shit.
Chevy Chase was
I
there.
do remember that shit. Tupac was on that screen,
Yeah.
wasn't he?
All
I do
around the
remember.
world.
In the court scene. Yeah.
All around the world, same
So-
song.
I'm glad that wasn't a bad take. I was afraid that I wouldn't be
Fuck
able to
that.
contribute tonight. So
And that's
I
another
rest my
one
case.
of those kismet things between us. Like, we really haven't been friends that long, Orange and me, just for your background, Q. And then we've known each other for a while, but we weren't necessarily very friendly. Because one of our mutual friends is my best friend, and then they have a lot of baseball experience, and they're fucking neighbors. He lives right there. And he was over at his house one time, and this guy comes in like a loudmouth talking all this shit. I was like, I ain't fucking with you. And then, like, whatever. Lots of stories go to that and whatnot. And then we saw each other again a bunch of years later, and I was, like, apprehensive to see him. And Mr. Baseball was like, Mr. Orange is coming over. And I was like, oh, that's going to be wonderful. So I was, like, a little on my guard and whatnot. And we immediately just started clicking, and it was just like, I was like, you're funny now. And he's like, it's because we got rid of those bitches. And we did one of those 80s freeze frame air high fives.
Da-da-da!
And we've been best friends ever since. So that's why I was trying to understand like how you were related and stuff, because I honestly didn't know. But that right there, you saying Digital Underground after I wrote it down and was trying to come over here and think of like, okay, I can't change my list. Like, how do I incorporate Digital Underground? The first motherfucking this no rap knowing motherfucker says is Digital Underground.
Hold on a second. I know a few years of rap. I have a very limited library, but this falls all into it. So
No, it's all good.
There you go. Number 5, Sex Packets, Digital Underground. Q?
I'd probably, an easy 5 for me is Illegal Business by Mac Mall.
Okay.
Yes. Man, I have.
Illegal Business.
I gotta
like,
find
that
a new one
whole
for my
thing,
list.
Like that area. And Mac Mall, like, he opened it up for debate with that. He got signed, and,
Yep.
you know, He was on BET.
Was that the one with My Opinion, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I love that
Were
fucking
you?
track.
You're born and raised out there, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So your shit is gonna come heavy from the Bay.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's.
I mean,
cool.
I think when it comes to me, my knowledge of Southern California rap is semi-limited. I mean, I listen to some here and there, and I think there's some undisputed ones that we'll probably get in the list later. But,
Right.
you know, it'll be more Bay Area influence, and like you could see it reverberate through the generations.
Right.
Like, everyone knows Mac Mall now from Thiz and everything like that. But
Right.
like, Illegal Business was the one.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I had, when we got this idea, I had written down like 12 albums.
Yeah, you could think-
And a lot of them were from the Bay.
Yeah.
And to put it at my top, I was like, I was so that's why I at least threw the Loonies up there.
Which album did you say?
Illegal Business.
Illegal Business.
Because Let's Get a Telly is one of my favorite songs, but that's a
That's
different
not-
album.
Untouchable.
Yes, Untouchable.
Sorry, but that was one of my favorite songs. I still, every once in a while, I get
Yeah.
like this bug in my head, and I'm like, I'm gonna listen to some Mac Mall right now.
That's cool.
You know how old my Let's Get a Telly is? My burned in version that I burned from a CD into my Apple Music, it's scratched, like the actual burned in version.
So the
no
MP3
way.
scratch.
The MP3 like
Yeah, I
skips
got
every
album
once in a
like
while,
that.
so I gotta.
That's funny.
It's like I got Apple Music
That's
now.
kind
So,
of cool.
Kinda
Though.
like
It's a
it.
throwback to the past,
Yeah.
man. That is kind of cool,
that's-
actually.
yeah, it's kind of crazy.
I've always thought that a filter for music that made it pop like a record would actually be a big seller on a phone
Well, you could just go
for an app. So clock this shit out.
Yeah.
No, on your phone. Like if you for an option, like make it sound like a record.
Oh.
Some people love that shit.
Oh well, the
The
audio
hiss and the
files.
pop.
Whisper,
Yeah.
we could add it in the back of any track we wanted. and
No,
sell
we
it.
can't. But I'm just saying,
Sell it
people
to
at home, like, you know what? I want to listen to this like it was on a record player. Click. All right.
Well,
Well,
that's
that's a
another.
good number 5, man.
Thank you.
Illegal Business. That's a good one. I like that. So we're on to number 4. My number 4, Warren G. Regulators. G-Funk era. Oh man, that CD. Okay, I used to go up to Yellowstone with my grandparents and work, right, in the deli with my grandma, and I'd be in Wyoming for like weeks at a time during the summer. I had that CD with me. Pretty much the only CD the first time I went, and I know every word of that front to back. Like I could recite that for you right now. I know you don't want to hear it, but
Yeah, I don't want to hear it.
that
But
is very influential to me.
that song, though, is one of the biggest hip hop rap songs of all
Right.
time.
And I was front row for that.
You saw them do it?
The Up in Smoke, Warren G was one of the opening acts.
Right.
And our tickets were probably like 20 rows back, but they let us just run up to the front for the opening act. Me and my buddy fucking ran up front row, Nate Dogg, Warren G, just fucking rocking that shit.
Was that in
So
Sac at the
awesome. Yes.
Arco?
Yes.
And then Eminem was after them? Or
Eminem
Eminem
was-
was first?
No, Ice Cube, I think, was first.
So I
And then
missed a lot,
Eminem.
man.
And then Dre and Snoop and all that shit. That was like the greatest show I've ever seen in my life.
I was at that, but apparently I missed a lot. Because we were walking in, and as we were walking to our seats, Eminem was doing "Kill You."
Oh, really? Maybe he was
That's
the
when
opening.
we
I don't know,
walked in.
but I
was
thought.
fucked up. There's a lot I don't remember about shit.
All right. So I had a couple.
But yeah,
Go ahead.
That's just a song.
What?
no.
I thought
It's
this
called
was a-
G-Funk Regulators, G-Funk era. Sorry,
Oh, okay.
but I didn't
the
write the
album.
whole thing out
Oh,
on the
That's
outline
the
here.
album. That's
because it originally came out on the Above the Rim soundtrack, which is better than the G-Funk Era soundtrack album, right? I mean, that's where I would
What?
put it.
There's a
The
lot
Above
of
the
good
Rim
shit on
soundtrack?
That
The Above the Rim
G-Funk album.
soundtrack was hit.
It's good,
Yeah,
but
As a
And
whole album,
it was a compilation.
how many songs do you know off that G-Funk Era song? Or
me?
There's a lot.
All of
well, he
them.
was just got done saying he knows the whole album. But no,
Whoa.
I get it. That's where
Is that this DJ? Is that on that one?
Yes.
I love that.
he's
song.
got a lot on there.
Yeah.
Even the later ones, there was
The
there
Super
was,
Soul Sis.
I
Remember
gotta-
that song?
I-
Do-do-do-do-do-do.
Do you remember
Oh,
when
man.
we had do you remember when Downtown Plaza, when we had the Downtown Plaza Mall and they had that Hard Rock Cafe in there?
Yeah.
I saw Warren G in that Hard Rock Cafe one time.
Not performing, right? They
Yeah,
don't-
no,
Yeah?
for a show. And they had like
Really?
the whole floor, all the tables were all moved up, and he was just on the floor. And we're all standing there, like practically in the entryway of the thing, in the lobby, and then the whole down lowered, because it was elevated. And they had that back room,
Huh.
and he was just up there.
I don't know if I
It
was
was
ever
after
inside, man.
Nate Dogg wasn't there. And it was, I can't remember if he was already dead or if it was before, but he wasn't there either way.
Rest in peace to Nate Dogg.
And it was cool. Nate Dogg was amazing.
That's a great track. though, I
Hit,
agree.
man. Yeah, so number 4
No matter where
for
you put it. Yeah.
Fresh here is Warren G. Regulators, G-Funk era.
I put down At the Speed of Life by Exhibit because, again, that was this era. It was right there with the Season of the Sickness, and I was getting very, very, very much into like rap and hip hop, and that song Paparazzi with that sample, and it was very much like East Coast lyricism with like West Coast like power and just.
Can we get a shout out to the Alcoholics?
That's So that's what's up. And who
right.
put Exhibit on but the Alcoholics? That's why it was very hard making this list. So you'll notice that everything I put on this list has a lot of everything's a
linear.
spider web. Everything like hits here and then it's like poof.
It's like
Or it
coaching
hits here,
trees in
then
the
it's like,
NFL.
poof. It's a big ass.
You know,
tree
seriously,
of,
it is.
tree of West Coast hip hop life.
Today was
And
the
I'm
first
really
day I
glad
thought
that you
about,
said that.
Catastrophe. I was thinking about my list,
Cash.
and I thought not at the speed of light, but after that, what was it? Restless.
The 40 Days and 40
Oh
Nights.
no, he's talking about the
Exhibit.
exhibit.
Restless was the one where he got on with Dre and Eminem.
I went on a road trip with that CD. We stopped at the warehouse. We was going on a
Warehouse,
trip.
baby.
It was me, my brother, my sister, and my brother's girlfriend who just sold her house.
Right.
You know what I'm saying, so she had some spare money, so we was going down to LA.
Uh-huh.
We got that Exhibit CD and Little John and the East Side Boys, and that was the two CDs we listened the whole time.
The Restless CD?
Yeah.
Oh, and that was popping.
Yeah.
That song with, I'm big partial to Eminem, but the You Don't Know Me, I Don't Know You, that whole, and that was all Dre beats. That was the Dre Exhibit album.
Yep.
But the Alcoholics,
Yeah.
those albums.
Licks.
Oh.
Yeah,
I can't
the licks
believe-
are dope.
Oh, my
LA's
God.
deep in lyricism.
Yeah,
like
and the
that.
Tash
Yeah.
drop, dude. I love that.
But they
album.
were more like that. They
Hey,
were
homie,
very
this
much.
Bill Clinton.
They were like
Bill, what the fuck you doing, man?
they're like West Coast tribe. They're part of the native tongues. It seems to me. Just that style. Just I like.
Good call,
I
my friend.
love the Alcoholics and Exhibit and everything they've done since. And Exhibit right now, I actually hear every week because on the Beats radio show, the Dr. Dre show, The Pharmacy. Dr. Dre's never on it, but he's on. He's on it every now and then.
His name's on it, buddy.
Well,
That's
he was
where
on.
he's getting the
He
check.
was on
Getting
like the
paid.
first ones, and he shows up every now and then. But Exhibit is one of the regular hosts. Exhibit, DJ Pooh, and Battle Cat.
What is this on?
On Beats One on the radio on
Serious?
your Apple app, on the Apple Music app.
Beats
you hit
One.
radio Beats One. So they have the
I'm gonna check
radio
that out,
station.
man. Can you can just send it to me, can't you?
Well,
Say,
just search it.
All right,
You
Fresh.
said you had Apple Music. Just
All right.
search the radio.
We'll get to that.
But anyway, that's I love that you said that. Man, fucking
number
it's
4,
round
man.
robin with Fresh.
Good
Don't
number
let me
4.
down. It's your turn to say something profound.
Number 4 for who's up next? Miss Orange.
All right, so this is going to play into the kismet nature of everything. A little bit of sad news real quick. Best friend's mom had surgery yesterday, successful to remove some shit from her lung. We thought it was brain cancer. So much love out to mom number 3, as I call her, because I have a stepmom. So I have mom 1, 2, and then 3.
Oh yeah.
Because of that, I saw him today. He was close to where I work. He come by. We talked for a little while. So the rest of my picks are all going to be based on how the album sounded in his car. That's why I tell the
Sounded
story.
in his car.
Yeah,
That's
he
a
had a
big
Nissan Pulsar,
Yeah.
right? If you guys remember what the Pulsar was, it almost looked like a Fiero, right? It was kind of the same as a hatchback.
Okay.
And he had 2 Kicker Comp 10s in the back. And in that little ass car, it fucking hit. Okay.
Right.
So that being said, I went favorites. My number 4 album is Can You Feel Me by Drew Down. Because I can just
Nice.
remember listening to that album all the time in that car, rolling around, and I love it. And it's still, like I said, I get that bug every once in a while. Every once in a while, I get it for Drew Down. I got to listen to a couple
You're
songs.
gonna be hella. All your picks are gonna be hella Bay Area oriented too, because you're from back. in
Oh,
Nashville.
absolutely.
Yeah, that's a throwback to number 5, the Loonies, because they were on
Yeah.
there first.
Yes,
Drew Down
right. That's
introduced
right.
them, so.
That's right. And I actually like
Drew
that
Down.
other Drew Down album a little better than Can You Feel Me? The
Numbskull
Explicit
Yuck
Game.
Mouth.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I like that one a little better. There's a lot of loonies on there.
Like I said, I thought we were going favorite, not influential.
But
So-
Well,
No,
I think
that's what
that's
I'm saying.
almost semantics
It's okay.
too, because I think
Oh,
we're
no,
all
no,
talking
no,
about
it
the
is.
same
It's
thing.
fun.
Just use a different.
That's a good number 4, man.
Technically, you're not using that word right, so my list is going to be different than yours.
And that's great. Basically, I
Matter
wanted
of fact,
to know
for the
this
rest of
about
this
you
show,
guys.
I'm going antagonist on these motherfuckers because I got some ideas now.
I really wanted to just know what you guys thought
He just
about
wants to
this.
pick apart our shit. All right.
So-
No, I love it. This
Here's
has been
your
so much
number
fun.
six.
I'm already looking forward to the next episode.
all right,
That's
Q.
a good
let
number
us
4.
know.
That's a good number 4. Q, what's your number 4, boy?
I'm going to go stick in Vallejo, get a little closer with probably E40, not Hall of Game. Hall of Game was good. Right after that, my Get a Report Card.
Get a report card.
I mean, it's
Okay.
not even my favorite, but I think it was influential. I think he was riding that wave, and it got a lot more popular with Tell Me When to Go and everything after that. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Had a little bit of.
Is that the one with Tell Me When to Go?
Yeah.
that one. So
I
that
feel
was
like
Warner
E-
Brothers.
My
That was-
personal opinion, I liked E40 when he was still kind of a secret. It seemed
Yeah,
like.
no,
that was
that's
in a
not
major
even
way.
my favorite.
That was Hall of
album.
Game.
The
Yeah,
start of
right?
the
I mean,
victory
yeah.
victory lap E40. He'd
Yeah.
been around winning for so long, and then he got that Warner Brothers deal, and
yeah.
like took him to the new plateau and
Yeah.
reinvented
Great for E40.
Yeah.
Love it. I'm happy for him. I love it when I see him on TV.
I thought you were
rooting
gonna
hard
say Hall
because
of
he
Game.
roots hard.
Yeah.
So.
And I'm looking at him, and I'm like, Hall
Yeah.
of Game, Hall
No.
of Game, Hall of Game.
See,
And then he
and
goes,
that's a
not
different-
Hall of Game, and I was
Not
like,
Hall of Game.
he heard me. Like, it was-
No, because Hall of Game, I don't even like Hall of Game's not my favorite.
Right.
Like
That's
I
the
like,
one with
I like,
the Tupac song,
yeah,
though, right?
No, yeah, I like the Hemp Museum more than that. At that
That
time,
really?
the Hemp
What do you
Museum
call-
was my lick.
What's
Yeah.
the one with
But-
the Tupac song on the Hall of Game? That beat is hard, and
Oh, you're talking about the Things Will Never Change beat?
no.
No, that's the one I like.
That's like the tribute to Tupac, kind of.
well, Tupac did one that was sped up. E40 did it slower.
No,
right?
the
That was
the-
Hall of Game,
I'm
wasn't
pretty
it?
sure it's the Tupac feature on Hall of Game.
Yeah.
That beat is just
I
like
got you.
I don't know.
Oh, the
E40
one I'm
is-
finding is the one Dusted and Disgusted, but that's from In a Major Way.
And a major way was awesome.
Yeah, sprinkle me, man.
I don't know why this.
That's the E40 I like.
yeah.
But you're right. That pick that you have feels like it defined
Yeah.
like a sound
Yeah,
in the
like-
Bay Area a little
Yeah.
bit. You know what I mean?
You were used to hearing some other rappers from, maybe the South, obviously,
Mm-hmm.
with all the 8-Ball MJG and, Scarface, everything. They've been all linked up. You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right.
But it took it to a different plateau. I think that's where favorite and influential kinds of makes a difference because not necessarily my favorite, but I think it's influential in that
That's a
regard.
good call.
to where we're even at now.
Yeah.
And how many people tried to copy all of that shit?
Oh, yeah.
You know,
Right.
and like that was a redefining moment for a lot of sound,
Yeah.
coming out of here. I think it is a very regional genre. And I think every region really has a distinct sound. And a lot of people coming from every genre, there's going to be a lot of people that are going to imitate, and they're all going to sound the fucking same, but it's the ones that stand out from what sounds the same or from what sounds the same. And E40
Yeah.
is one of those ones from that region that I think, again, outsider looking in, just my opinion, E40 is like the king of all of the Bay Area shit. And I'm not talking like
I would make
because
one
Tupac's
argument.
in Oakland, like Tupac doesn't count.
That's not the argument I would make.
No, I know. But
I think we'll get to it later.
that's fine. That's fine. But I don't think many people. What was the one?
My next album is the one I would argue.
Okay, well, we'll get there.
Almost there.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good number 4, bro.
That
was a great
No,
one.
it's great.
Getting E40 in there, especially, he's big Bay Area, always, and he's consistent.
Yeah,
Keeps it going.
The cool thing about these lists is it's all opinion and it's all just love.
No.
It's all just love for what we like about our shit, and it just gives us something to talk about positively.
And it's
not-
almost so broad that nothing's a wrong answer.
Exactly.
Nobody, yeah, there's no arguing
That's right.
against, other than like you said, you like somebody's album better, but that's personal choice. They're all great artists. That's
Right.
awesome.
We could change this to artists, and it would be top 5 artists. And right now we're specific.
might have been fun.
We're
But this is more
specifically
fun.
naming albums, right? But
Yeah.
if we have artists, everybody's. I mean, there might be a couple duplicates, but for the most part, everyone's gonna have a different answer.
I like albums because that means that the entire thing had to stand out to you.
No, I get that.
You know what I
No,
mean?
no,
Yeah.
I get that. I'm not shitting on
Not
that.
the entire
What's
body
your
of
number?
work.
We're only on number 4.
Actually, DM and me had the same number 3 here going on with Dr. Dre, Chronic 2001.
Oh, we did put it right in the same spot.
We did. We both had number 3. And I remember my very first apartment with my buddy, roommates, he played that shit every morning. I woke up to fucking Chronic 2001. Every
album.
motherfucking morning. We just listened to it all fucking day.
Worst
It's a
things
good
to listen to.
album. Yeah, it's a
Right.
good album.
Oh, yeah. Just hearing that THX thing in the beginning.
You're on the
every morning.
bumper X, like
Right?
with the hydraulics. And
Oh,
that one is another album that will always signify an era when you listen to it. It will always bring you back.
Yep.
To
I
that
thought of the
time.
apartment I was in immediately.
You know all the words, like that shit was, and it was cool because it was like fuck Suge and fuck all that bullshit.
You remember how they tried to come out with that Chronic 2000
Yeah.
year before?
Yeah.
With the guy that sounded like Tupac and the fake
Yeah.
Snoop and all that stuff? Like,
Oh, yeah.
I have the
Exactly
album.
like
There's
Tupac.
actually
Everyone
some
did.
good songs on the album. Well, that's how they got us,
Oh,
right?
and that was when they had like Crooked Eye, I think, was on Death
Yeah.
Row. So,
Yeah,
I
there
mean,
was
hey,
some
I'll
good
listen to
stuff
some
on
Crooked Eye any day.
yeah, for
That
sure.
that was pretty shady by Suge to do.
Yeah.
There
that
was
shit.
wow, that's Suge Knight, man. But then he's like, no,
Who
well,
would've
fuck you.
figured?
You can't take me and one. It's like the Price is Right all of a sudden.
That's right.
All right.
Closer to one
I was
$1.
gonna say Alex, but it's not Alex.
No.
It's Bob
Drew
Barker.
Carey now.
All right, Bob.
So
Bob.
you guys had the same one,
So
huh?
same one. Yeah, number
Yeah.
3, Chronic 2001.
All right.
I
Well,
mean, you could put the Chronic. But I feel like that's why anyway. I feel like Doggy Style is kind of like the Chronic Part 2, and that one.
Yeah.
So anyway,
We'll
Chronic
get there.
Yeah. Chronic.
but to
2001.
answer your question, I'm gonna go with "Get In Where You Fit In" by Too Short.
Ooh.
Yep.
Too short.
So
Yeah.
that's to challenge
That was on my
E40
list.
as the face of Bay Area.
I
rap.
was so close to putting that one on
That
as
was-
well.
The only reason I think E40 is broader than Too Short is because
He's cleaner.
it's not
Like
as
he's almost
misogynistic.
more. Yeah, I get that argument.
I
but
feel it. There's sometimes you want to say
The
that
argument is-
his primary shit is bitch, and that's cool.
How
but
many motherfuckers say that
come
nowadays?
on,
Hey,
bro.
everybody
Too
says that.
Exactly.
Everything
Short.
that Too Short has said has been repeated by somebody.
Yeah.
Oh,
I was
for
checking
sure.
out Too Short albums,
Everything.
and I was like, what about Cocktails? What about
Oh yeah.
the joint
I
with
was
Burn Rubber?
I was watching Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. on Netflix, and she said, "Bitch." I was like, "What the fuck? Are you kidding me? That's like on ABC and
I
shit."
get
isn't
it.
The reason I picked "Get In Where You Fit In" is because he woke up one day in Vacaville, so that was legit.
Around the corner
When
from the
I-
Player Fat House on the hill. Hell yeah.
So around the corner from the pen, by the way, he's talking about the prison.
Oh, that's what he said.
Yeah,
Oh, I don't know.
and
I'm
he
just
lived
probably
right down the
high.
street from my uncle, so it was like
Nice.
it was like this trifecta. I love that fucking album.
You know what,
I'm a
uh,
player,
bum,
still
bum,
will
bum,
fucking
bum,
give
Too
me
Short did right
goosebumps.
early.
What?
Those album covers. Too Short did those album covers right. Like
Oh, yeah.
album covers are something different. Now you
Yeah.
see it when you're swiping or whatever
Yeah.
like that. But to see that book
No.
and to see that artwork, Get In Where You Fit In, he was out there on Lake Merritt with
Yeah,
the suit.
with the
Yeah.
suit. Yeah.
You know, that's like
He had the cane
Yeah.
too, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
he was.
Pimp.
yeah.
I get it. I love
Him.
Too Short.
You're not a Too Short fan.
No, I am, but I just think the broader appeal, the broader artist is E40.
And
That's
dude,
all.
I actually
Well,
bought
that's what I
that
said. What's
album.
the argument?
in
Is it that, or is what represents Bay Area?
I'll have
rap
to
better?
argue your broader
know what I mean?
thing because
That's
I
cool.
bought that album in
No, trust me.
Montana, bro.
There
Oh,
was
no.
Montana.
That's why I said
The
it's two
E40
different
or the Too
arguments.
Short?
E40
Too
is
Short.
easier for the common person to swallow than Too Short.
There
for
was this
sure.
chick that
right? Because there's no blowjob Betty in
There-
E40's fucking discography.
there was this girl and she was gorgeous and we were like talking at the time and it never went anywhere and I never got to hit it and I fucking hated it, but she was like, and I should have, because she loved Too Short and I was like, that's a dirty girl. Like if you love Too Short, you love all these records and this is what you're requesting to play, you must love the taste of a dick in your mouth. And I felt that just maybe being on my, maybe I was too young. She was like too advanced for me. Or I probably also saved myself from the mouth herpes. So it's probably.
You could have saved yourself from the herp,
Yeah, I might have dodged it.
the gift that keeps on.
I might have
giving.
been Neo on that shit. Just like, but she was all about it. I was like, really? That's
That's a good
okay.
call, though.
You know, but
Yeah.
anyway.
Get In Where You Fit In. Out of his many, many albums, that's a good choice, man. That's a good choice. Q? You got number 3?
Q.
Number 3, I don't want to bite anybody else's list, but I think Tupac All Eyes on Me was a really, really good West Coast album. It had the whole West Coast on there from
Right.
production to rapping and everything.
Yep.
And it was one of the first double discs, so, I mean,
Yeah.
you felt like you got your money's worth.
Well,
Right.
that's why I have it at number 2.
Yeah,
Since I'm going next, I
Right.
mean, that falls perfectly right
Right.
there, man. So
that's the reason why.
that was a very influential album.
Well, yeah, mine's my number 2, so we can skip me
number 2
next
as
time
well?
just to say it is.
Man.
It's just
It's a solid
I'm back in the
double
Pulsar
disc.
again. That's all I'm saying.
People
That's for
don't
me,
release that many songs on a double disc that are just that solid.
That was a fucking great. You're right. At the same time, that was a
Yes.
great.
that was a great
collection.
time for music.
Yeah, it was.
Oh, for
man.
sure.
Like,
I had a coworker tell
The
me that he
best.
was jealous of me because I was in high school and all that was going on, and I was like, "Well, that's kind of cool, actually. Like, I kind of dug that." I was
one
like,
of the
"Huh."
great things about that album too, if you listen to it now, even in a car
Mm-hmm.
or just with some good headphones, like acoustically, it's really
Oh,
good
it's
sounding.
yeah, it
Like
sounds
there's
amazing.
sounds in there. There's the ups and downs, highs and lows, like all types of instruments. So
Yep.
You know who actually put a
Look,
lot of
Quick
work in that
producing.
album and didn't get credit because again, Sugar's a bitch. But DJ Quick,
Quick, yeah.
he cleaned up a lot of those records and He didn't get publishing on that shit, like, because homie's not chill with his paperwork. But that's cool that you guys all three had a All Eyes on Me for number 2.
Is that yours too?
No.
Well, he put it number 3. So
Oh, 3. That's
yeah,
right.
so
Whatever. Close enough.
Oh, are we still?
Close enough.
Oh, so now it's my turn.
Yeah.
And for number 2, I picked Doggy Style Snoop Dogg because Snoop Doggy Dogg put out Doggy Style, and I remember that was one of the shits. Like when I was younger, and it was like. Mom didn't want to see me listening to that.
Right.
And like we had in my mom's house, we had a TV in their bedroom, and then there was a living room TV, which everybody kind of like congregated around. And that's where like dinner and evening was and stuff. So I would sneak to the back room and turn on the MTV and was watching videos, and Snoop Dogg was one of those videos where he's dancing on the roof of the record store and he morphs into the dog and just all that stuff. It was like, again, the Chronic Part 2.
The gin and juice fucking
Gin and juice
party
Snoop
running
Dogg,
out video.
just,
Come on.
The
Yeah.
snappy, just
I know.
the Snoop Dogg, just like
I was cracked
persona.
up at Corrupt on the What's My Name video.
Yeah.
Standing by the red. What's his name for?
Well, which spawned the Dog Pound and
Hey.
all that shit.
Yeah.
And it was just like, it was a further extension of Dr. Dre and everything they did with the Chronic and Chronic 2001 new wave version of it all. Because again, it's like it's a perfect sequel. It's like the same album, but just like sonically and
The next
artistically the next wave.
It's like the
you know?
next one.
It's
yeah.
and
it was like a story that
but as
I
far
was
as
watching.
classic ones, just like I always wanted it, and I was like afraid to buy the tape. I was like, they're gonna throw it away. They're just gonna throw the fucking tape.
Who else would have spawned the phrase "It ain't no fun if your homies can't have none"?
The Warren G put a condom on.
It's the first 213 song I ever heard.
Oh man, my Pepto, who you guys have met, I don't believe you've ever met him, but you will at the wedding.
All right.
He brought a girl home one time, and me and the homie I was hanging out with today that I hadn't seen in a while put that shit on the radio in the living room, and she ended up storming out of the house. He was so mad at us.
Wow.
God, we
you
were
gotta
cock
be-
blockers back then.
You got to be successful. Oh, he did it to fuck with her?
We did it.
Oh.
It was me and the homie from today, who I don't have a nickname for yet, but
Oh.
yeah, I've cockblocked. I realize now that
With
I
the
owe
record?
Pepto a lot of fucking.
That's fucked up, man.
Yeah, apparently I thought it was
It ain't no
funny
fun
at
if
the
your homies
time.
can't have
Yeah.
none.
Oh yeah, he was in the bedroom with her, and we were blaring that shit on repeat, and she came out and she was not happy.
Oh.
That's more Nate Dogg just killing it right there. He makes that song.
We already talked about my number 2, so that was my contribution to the second round.
That's good. All right, we're on a cue for a number 2.
Well, I'll keep it LA, and I'll probably say NWA, man.
Yeah.
That first joint.
Straight out of Compton.
Yeah, straight out of Compton. It set the tone for everything we talking about on the list.
Game
like
changer.
you know, as far as influence and favorite. I'm saying because being younger than you hear about. I remember that was when Colors came out. I remember there was issues
Yeah.
at the movie theaters, and
Right.
you couldn't wear British Knights and all this other stuff. Remember British Knights?
Yeah.
Don't know
Oh,
what
with the
British-
two
What
sets
a
of
name
laces.
drop.
Yeah.
That is a good name drop.
British
right there.
Knights. You know what I'm saying, but
BKs.
yeah. So I remember that time, and to hear that, it was wild. And I have older aunties and some uncles that would play that,
Yep.
and I remember like hearing that. Luke, some Too Short, just random stuff. Yeah, you shouldn't be listening to it as a kid. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? They
That's
try to hit
kinda
the
what makes
flip
it
side
fun.
and put on radio or something like
Yeah.
that. The
Yep.
little family, nah.
The taboo-ness of
The
it.
taboo. That's
Yeah.
exactly
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
adjective I was going to use.
Exactly.
And I mean, even if you didn't hear the whole album, I mean, you knew "Fuck the Police," you knew a bunch of other songs. I mean, "Dope Man" still hit. Like,
Oh, yeah.
I'm really glad you said that because that's very, very relevant right now. 30 years ago, if we didn't have that album, we wouldn't have a lot of the shit we've been talking about on this show tonight.
Yep.
That's as far as influential, that is probably the most influential rap hip hop album almost of all time.
I think
because it started a whole new revolution
Yeah.
of what we have today.
And
Okay,
I mean,
so-
a discernment of success too. Sorry to interrupt.
No.
But just like we talked about the Loonies and Drew Down and how your family tree kind of break down. If
Right.
it wasn't for NWA, and if only Cube would have had popularity, only Dre would have had popularity.
Yeah.
No, everyone kind of did their thing, and fall out, get
And
back
then it
together, do what you do.
spun
Yeah.
off.
So I mean, without those breaks in NWA, we wouldn't have Doggy Style and
Yep.
some of the future
None of it.
albums.
Yeah. Thank God
R.I.P.
for that.
Eazy-E. R.I.P. Eazy-E.
Rest
Well,
in peace.
I was
Eazy-E.
thinking about that.
Bone
Real
Thugs, we would've had
motherfucking
Bone
G's
Thugs.
was one of my.
Oh,
Fake.
hey,
that
was
shit
hard.
hit in the Pulsar, bro.
Oh, he was talking big shit. Eazy was talking big shit.
That
So
was
simple.
that was great at the time until people started getting shot.
So
for real.
gangster,
Like,
so much attitude.
It was great then when they were talking shit until it got too real.
Yeah.
Well,
Speaking of
right.
And we
album
lost
covers,
people we shouldn't have lost.
Remember the album cover? He had to scratch off the motherfucking. It was like a lotto scratcher.
It was
Are you
Like-
kidding?
No, I remember I bought it. It had Eazy-E. It said real and it was
That's
like blocked out. You had to scratch that
awesome.
off.
So
it was
that
like,
you could have it.
Yeah, so
Oh
it
my-
really said motherfucking G's because you can't sell that on at the warehouse or FY.
Was that a single that did that?
No, the album. That was an album.
That was
Real
the album.
motherfucking G's.
but
and
that was
song
the
was
that
on there
was
too.
the
Yeah.
jam. That bass. Oof.
That is.
Yeah.
I've never heard that.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
The commercial success that NWA monetarily legitimized this art form amongst the universe, right? Because everything we've been talking about earlier has been very regional, and then a lot of it kind of expanded those regions and whatnot, but a lot of this shit is developed on a regional level. That shit was on a worldwide and nationwide level to where they were getting letters from the fucking Federal Bureau of Investigation trying to shut them down for speaking truths of what people are really experiencing still today on a day-to-day fucking basis. The problem isn't gone anywhere.
You
They've
think about
alerted people to unjust, broken pieces of our system that are happening to certain people, and people are still letting it fucking happen today. And the fact that people could jam to it, love to it, all people fucking love it, and they're making a bunch of money. They were stomping the CDs out. They were stomping the tapes out, trying to get shut down for speaking the fucking truth. They changed the fucking game and then gave us all the other bullshit we can rap about or talk about.
Well, apparently my number one's some bullshit. Then.
No, that's
No,
not
it's
Chronic.
not because
That's not what I
no, I
meant.
got you. I understand.
this for me. This
That's
plays into it
monumental.
perfect because
that's a monumental movement. NWA was.
Yeah.
for me it was a close call, but the Chronic is also my pick, and the way I would defend it is the favorite versus influential. I like the Chronic better. So for me on a personal level, I think the Chronic bridged the gap that NWA couldn't quite reach.
Right. I think
Well, it
it
just furthered
it's
it.
it's more of a fun feel with it as
But
well.
it still
Not fun.
has the same-
It's still kind of gangster. It's gangster.
Oh, but it's
fun.
that laid back kind of. That's
Right.
what. Yeah, it wasn't as hard.
It's
Right.
like, yeah, it
In your
still sucks,
face.
but at the same
It's
time,
the first look at Snoop.
what are we
get.
gonna do about it? We're gonna smoke this blunt and drink
Ah,
this 40.
Yeah. No, I'm
and
sure
it
if you
still
played all
sucks
these
out
albums
there.
back to back to back, you could be like 91, 92,
Oh, yeah.
93. You know what I'm saying? There's
Yeah.
a little piece. Now we
Yep.
get the party.
Yeah.
They fucked it up again. Now we, you know what I'm saying? Whatever's going on.
Yeah, man. So the Chronic, I think MTV was just about getting right to its height.
Oh, yeah.
They were dropping those videos that was showing what West Coast was all about,
Well,
and that's what the fuck I like.
Now that
about
you bring up
Chronic.
MTV and dropping videos, I almost feel bad we didn't bring up MC Hammer. Because as far as being
thought about it.
influential, come on, hold on a second.
You know, I'm
You got to think
not
of.
saying otherwise.
Oh, I
It's
thought you
just
were saying no.
that's
I thought you said,
crazy
oh,
drop.
no.
No,
Oh.
you just blew my fucking mind. That's
Oh.
what I was talking about.
You
Well,
just
you're
ruined
talking
my
about
number one.
because you remember. But do you remember when he dropped the Too Legit video?
Oh, yeah.
That was the biggest thing that had happened
Oh, yeah.
in music videos until that point. Everybody was going home. Everybody was watching it, and that's
Yeah.
all we were talking about the next day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's got to get a shout out on this, right?
Yeah.
Oakland.
Yeah, shout
I
out
think
to
he's
Hammer.
one of
Hey.
the biggest success stories. Got
Yeah.
found dancing in front of the Oakland Coliseum
Yep.
before A's games. That's how
Yep.
we found
Became
MC
a bat
Hammer.
boy.
Good old
Did you
Stanley.
know? Little trivia, real quick. Did you know? MC Hammer was briefly signed to Death Row, and,
Yes.
he hung around with Tupac and Suge before the Vegas tragedy.
He was
and all
Hammer,
that
though.
shit.
Listen,
He was only Hammer.
I
Oh, yeah.
actually kind of like a couple songs from that album, so don't dog it too hard.
You remember the Death
Oh, I
Row
don't even think
album
I've heard
they
it.
had?
Oh, really?
Like
There was a couple songs-
compilation.
The what?
There was a Death Row compilation. I think it was like 3 discs, and it had like painted art with all the Death Row members.
And Hammer
like,
was on it?
Yeah, Hammer was on there.
When he was
there was a
Hammer.
bunch of people. It was
Wow.
like the last days when they were trying to get everybody. You know
Right.
What I'm saying?
The Oaktown song they play all the time at Raider games
Oh, yeah.
is Hammer from his fucking Death Row days. Oaktown, don't you know about my city? Oh, right? That right?
I need to hear this shit, man.
Really?
I don't think
Oh,
I've-
I'll
Yeah, I don't
find
think
it.
I ever heard that before.
I've heard
so.
it plenty
we
of times.
we were on the way to the concert last night, and I just stole this jar. Oh, I thought you were looking at the jar. No, I didn't steal. I don't steal from my friends.
So this will be the first time I hear Hammer on Death Row.
Last night we were driving and they played that song "Pray," and I used to love that song.
yeah.
Pray. It was like, you got to pray, 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 pray. You got to pray just to make it today. You got to pray, pray, pray. Pray.
That was good, man.
I heard that and I was like, I haven't heard that since I was a fucking kid. And I was like, why didn't I put Hammer on the fucking list? I'm like driving, getting anxiety about this shit because fuck lists, they're impossible to make. That's what it's just we're having fun. So anyway, you got some Hammer Orange? I'm gonna take a bong rip to this shit.
Yeah. Do you know about my city? The city of O. Oh, don't you know? Do you know about my city? The city of O. Oh, don't you know? Now let's take a little trip down memory lane. My brothers played nothing but the dope
All right,
days.
that's got some good, that's a little jam right there.
Rad.
Yeah.
I bet you if we had Hammer at a podcast.
I like that. I like that album. Maybe it's just
Still
because
got
I
a
was
good
white
ham-
in the
it's-
suburbs, but I
it's-
fucking like that album.
It's still got a kind of a good Hammer
And
feel
that's
to
on
it, too.
Death
Yeah.
Row?
Friendly.
Yeah.
That's
About
on
Hammer,
Death
though.
Row.
He tried to be hard, dude. He came back and he's
The
like,
after the Funky Headhunter. He was the Funky Headhunter for a little bit when he did that Addams Family.
yeah,
Yeah.
that was big, dude.
Hey, it was. If you make the movies, everyone's seeing that.
Yeah.
Everyone knew that song. No, but Hammer was a good person at heart. There's a lot of people
Yeah.
that make good music that are shitbirds. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But Hammer, he bought helicopters for the police, backpacks for the kids, you know,
Damn.
took everybody on tour. Hey, fell off.
Doing things.
Hold on a minute. The reason he took everybody on tour, he lost everything, right?
Yeah.
You could see his house from the freeway.
Yeah. Hey, he
Is it
bounced
still
back in
his house?
Silicon Valley, though. Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like
He
Hammer,
tried.
with Hammer trying to go hard. That's exactly what it sounds like.
It was funny.
I remember that cover art for sure.
I remember I was playing Ken Griffey Jr. baseball on the Super Nintendo at the time.
I remember my dad used to cut my hair when I was little, and I would put tapes on and stuff, and then I started to grab
Those
tape.
priests used to touch you too, though.
That was a joke. This is a real story.
Start over.
No. Keep it. But I was putting these tapes on, and then I kind of switched to this kind of music, and that wasn't my dad's favorite. And we got to one of these songs on the Hammer. He's like, I don't think I like you listening to this music. I was like, why? And he's like talking about. He starts pointing out all like the things.
The old Hammer album?
No, this was on. I think it was on that Pray album or something. There was one song in there, and he didn't. And I forgot what he didn't like specifically, but it was just a different culture. It was a different wave, and he was like, I don't want the kid listening to this. And I was like, okay, so now I got to just use my headphones. And it didn't get, we fought about rap music and hip-hop music a lot.
Well, I got into it with my stepdad about Murder Was the Case. That was the one where I decided I was going to take a stand. No more headphones. It didn't go over well.
Oh, that was the one you tried to come out of
Yeah.
the headphones with?
Hey, motherfucker!
does-
You need the B-side, man.
That actually has one of my favorite songs of all time, which is the Jodeci Come Up to My Room. Oh, I love that song.
You know what? That's what I was thinking about, and I was going to say it earlier when you mentioned Digital Underground and shit, though. Because Digital Underground is a little more accessible, and people that are reluctant to get into the genre because
lot
it's like
more accessible.
blah this or it's blah that, and you play that and it's like some jazz shit and it's hip hop and like, oh, these are the guys that made up Tupac. If you introduce Tupac to them through Digital Underground, you're gonna have a better chance of
Or
making
even
them.
I Get Around, which was a few years into his career, but that's an accessible
The
song.
parentals were
It's a-
induced to hip hop from NWA, from all that stuff. They think everything's shoot 'em up, hit 'em up. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Bloody murder gang.
And it's not. There's so many different branches of that. It's not just one thing. And that's the thing. It's like if you listen to a lot of their records and their old music and shit, and it's like, yo, that shit ain't chill either. Just because you're not saying motherfucker doesn't mean you're saying sweet nothings into my child's ear.
Yeah.
What are we doing now?
So DM, what you got for a number one?
Number one, I went with probably one of my favorite, if not my favorite artist of all time, Tupac, Me Against the World. And the reason I picked Me Against the World over All Eyes on Me is because it was a little deeper in a sense where it was a lot more artistic, and it was him doing what he wanted to do as an artist and just furthering along his movement. When you got to All Eyes on Me, it was bailed out of jail, Biggie Beef, like way intense, just reactionary, whereas Me Against the World was a lot more thoughtful and thought-provoking and like a more cohesive just album. And I picked Me Against the World because that one song, like a lot of this shit is about like mental health back then before it was okay to talk about mental health. But he's talking about suicide. He's talking about death. He's talking about struggle. There's like, it's almost an East Coast record because everybody knows Tupac's from New York. But that song, like the old school and just reminiscent about stickball and the shaved ices and all that stuff. It was just like, it's like,
Old
okay,
school.
this is my album. This
old
is like
school,
an
yeah.
album.
Just made
All
that-
Eyes on Me was
Just made that play in my head.
All Eyes on Me, I think, was a response to everybody's attack on his character. Whereas anything that he did from that moment on was like it was a statement.
There's
It
a lot
was
of great
just like-
songs that are like Wonder Why They Call You Bitch. And,
I'm not saying
I mean,
those are bad songs.
Yeah.
I'm not saying they're bad songs. I'm just saying this was him at his peak before shit got bad.
And I do agree with
This
that.
was like this side of the pyramid, shit popped off at the point, and then everything went down and he's fucking gone. So this one was before any of the major bullshit popped off, I think. If Tupac would be alive today and be the same age as Snoop Dogg, what would we have? I mean, that...
It's an interesting question. That's
That
a
could be-
whole other show.
There's one
I've thought
thing
about that
that
before,
says
actually.
If Oprah died at 25, she would have been a local weatherman.
Mm-hmm.
If Malcolm X died at 25, he would have been a local pimp. Tupac died at 25. In this era where we have fuckboy Donald Trump as a fucking cocksucker of a president, could we not have had a celebrity president that was actually educated and intelligent with a humane and responsible will for the love and advancement of all people? Like, what if maybe that's why they shot him? Everyone loved him too much. I don't know,
That's deep.
but
Yeah.
that's a whole nother.
Let's do
shit.
that deep in the outhouse with Mr. Orange.
I'm just
Did
saying.
Tupac get killed because he might be president one day?
It's a thought.
I thought.
believe
Well,
it.
there's a
Good
big
one.
theory
Hey.
about Tupac's death that they took him out because he was getting too much rapport with the people, not just the black people or the hip hop listeners, but just people, which
No,
the establishment was threatened by.
You get too popular, you talk too much peace shit, that's when you go. You know what I'm saying? It's not when you talk war, it's when you talk peace. You look at every artist that died before their
So
time.
you think Tupac was hit?
Man.
There's a big.
I mean,
shit.
okay, we know he's hit, but by the government?
He has a 4,000-page FBI file. He's got an FBI file like this, and if you get records of it, everything is blacked out. He's a result of two Black Panthers who were also very much investigated and persecuted and shit. Like, he was, like, born into that shit and started to advance it and gained the most notoriety of almost
Had a-
any public
Before,
figure at
he
the
had a
before
time.
every
platform.
interview was fuck you, fuck them, I didn't have to do this, defended himself, know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Fuck
Right.
that fat bastard. It was, we need to get together, peace is the way, look what you could do, believe in yourself. Like,
Every one of his thug life means something, right? The hate you give little infants. Wait, what did I just spell?
You're there.
You're right.
Yeah, you were right.
What was it?
You just didn't get all the way there.
Fucks everyone. That's the last two. The hate you give little infants fucks everyone. That's what thug life means. Thug life was also a code. It was a crew. It was there's like
almost a P3,
declarations. Shit's written down. It's like, all right, I understand you got to sell drugs. I understand we have to hustle in the streets, but we're not going to do it around schools. We're not going to do it around residential areas, and we're going to close the shit at sundown. There's no more gun violence in the streets. Nobody can do any of that bullshit anymore that is tearing us all down. If you have to do that, we're going to find a way out of that. But for now, these are the rules for doing it. They had like a whole code of conduct for like making things better. And he was trying to use his power to organize people for positive and good. And I think some people found that a little bit too competitive.
Like it would be a little more influential than need be.
That's interesting.
Anyway, we didn't have to get all into that. We didn't have
No,
to-
that's deep, man, and I like that because that's totally true.
Where is the outline?
It's over. There's nothing left on there.
They didn't get ones.
I know. We already know.
Mine was the
His-
chronic as well.
His was the chronic for
What was,
many
what
different
was
about
your
reasons.
you?
number one, Q?
Q's gonna break it
influential?
down. Where's the drum roll?
number one most influential, I think, for leading into the current, say Mac Dre, Thizzle Washington. Everyone's heard Thizzle dance. Everyone's danced at Thizzle dance. You know what I'm saying? even some other cuts. Again, not necessarily my favorite Mac Dre album, but for what it was and what it meant for that time and how it carries on, like I think that's a good influential number one.
Did you say Thizzle Washington?
Thizzle
like
Washington.
Denzel Washington.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dude, so I heard somebody one time tell me that when E40 came out with the Tell Me When to Go shit and all that stuff, that he was biting his style after he was gone or something like that, and he was taking it and run with it.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
That's exactly what happened.
Okay.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what happened.
For his benefit or a benefit of the movement?
No, his benefit. I mean, before, they both grew up in Vallejo, different sides. They had their indifferences and problems that, people have when you grow up in the same town sometimes.
Right.
Definitely Mac Dre style, even in the hook of Tell Me When to Go, Ghost Ride the Whip.
Yeah.
Thiz Face. Thiz was the name of Mac Dre's label.
That was his
You know
whole
what I'm saying?
shit.
So, yeah, Thiz Face was his thing. So, he was definitely biting the slogans and mantras that Mac Dre used to use. You know what I'm saying? And in the interest of being positive in a Bay Area, we need to remember Mac Dre. It was like, okay, we'll let it rock. He's repping the Bay. You know what I'm saying?
Right, because it advanced us all.
Yeah,
and it's
yeah.
almost like he's carrying the torch in some way.
Tell Me When to Go remix. One of those super remixes with like 20 people on there.
Right.
So, I mean, it's in the interest of everybody to play ball sometimes. And,
Yep.
you were absolutely right. He took and ran with it. But, it influenced E40 in that way, and that's the way he took it. So
Did you know any of those guys growing up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I grew up like right on Griffin, right on Mark, North Vallejo. Yeah.
That's
Nice,
cool,
man. That's a good pick, man. I didn't even think about going there.
What was this again? Is that ecstasy?
Yeah.
Right?
MDMA.
Yeah, that's
Yeah. And it
modern
was weird
ecstasy,
because everyone thought it was a party drug and everything like that, and you start bringing it to the hood, and if the hood like it, it's gonna spread. You start rapping about it. I mean, for good or bad, whether it's codeine or whatever the hell people taking these days.
right.
So
Tide Pods.
in that way.
I can't believe they ain't rapping about that yet. No, I'm
Sometimes a lot of songs are fucking commercials for the dope you're selling.
yeah.
Just smoke my shit. Just smoke my shit. Just buy my shit. Just buy my shit.
That's what Hove rap about.
Right.
Buy this, buy that title, get the free plug.
I almost don't think. Well,
What was the rap from Half Baked?
I don't remember.
What?
I need a call from Samson.
Yeah. Fly me to the moon like that bitch Alice Grams.
Was that Dave Chappelle?
That's Dave Chappelle.
Was that the origin of Dylon? My top 5 is Dylon.
No, that was he was the rapper that was buying weed from him. He's
All,
all.
Half Baked.
He told me about his lawyer.
Yeah, he's
he had
crying.
sex with my mama.
Yeah.
You remember that shit? That was great.
I saw that once a
Oh,
long
man.
fucking time ago.
That was a great number one, by the way. That's great, dude. So Mac Dre. Got to represent the Bay Area. I had a couple honorable mentions. Of course, one was Snoop Doggy Style, which we already talked about. And a great deal and how influential it is to almost everybody our age, I would say. But the second one actually goes to DJ Quick's Balance and Options. And the reason why I picked Balance and Options is because just the sound of that record, it's like changes the way I heard hip hop to me. It really had some different kind of, I don't know. It wasn't a traditional quick sounding album, but it's so fucking, it's deep to me.
Didn't he use a lot of live instruments on there?
He does always use a lot of live instruments, especially modern quick. Like he's quite a musician. He tries. He puts a lot of work in. That's why this show we saw was so disappointing.
Yeah, that was very disappointing.
It's better than this, and I know you can do better than this, and the difference between doing better than this.
Yeah, when you go out on stage with a giant bottle of, what was he at, Hennessy? It just was a huge bottle of Hennessy. He was fucking pounding Yeah, it's so. But anyway, that album to me, very influential to my life and where I was at that point in my life. So I had to throw it for that, at least an honorable mention.
I remember that album. That was probably the DJ Quick album that I was the most into because it was like way in my prime of being that way.
Me, and you,
and we would all think we could rap and stuff, and we would freestyle in the car, like driving to, and we would just play songs and freestyle over them. So even though they had the vocals, it was just the song, but we would just use it as the beat and just like rap over it.
Hell yeah!
And one time I dropped this kid off, and I don't remember, and I'm directionally challenged. Like I got the worst sense of direction. I always get lost. GPS are great, but sometimes they make shit worse. But I'm driving through this. I dropped this guy off in the truck, and we've been rapping or whatever, and I keep going, and I'm by myself, and I pull through this parking lot because I made a wrong turn, and I go around, and there's this little kid standing by a tree, and he's looking at me, and I see him look at me. I look at him, and he's just standing there like this as I'm turning, and I feel bad because I'm cussing, I'm saying all kinds of shit I don't want to be saying in front of a little kid, but at the same time, I'm not going to break it because I'm doing good, and I'm digging into this shit. This Balancing Options album. I don't remember which song it was exactly, and then I looked, and I stopped to make the turn, and I looked back at him, and he goes, "You're good." And I was just like, what? What? It's one of my favorite memories. This kid had to have been 10. And he was just like you playing with a stick by a tree or something. All of a sudden, this dude just banging the subs out of the truck, just fully fucking just white boy rapping over some shit. Makes the U-turn, and he just watches the whole thing. Stop. You're good. And I was like, because kids don't lie. Kids will tell you if you have a fucking unibrow.
Yep.
Yep. Damn it, nobody says that. You look like Shrek. No, it's just anyway.
You got an honorable mention over there?
I got an honorable mention, and mine is not for an album or a song in particular. It's for an artist, and the honorable mention goes to Ice Cube. And this goes back to what we were talking about the 30th anniversary of NWA and Straight Outta Compton and shit like that. But Ice Cube, I don't think gets enough credit. Just from the song Today Was a Good Day, one of the best rap songs of all fucking time, to the movies that he puts down.
Do you know somebody figured that out?
What? That it is the best rap song?
No, that
what?
They figured out what the day was.
Oh, you mentioned that the other day.
They did some kind of weird, because it had to do with the Supersonics, and they had all these different things, clear skies, no shootings, all this shit. So they found a day. There's only one day.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know. I'll Google it.
I don't know about that.
So, Ice Cube, man,
Yep.
From NWA to solo Ice Cube, no Vaseline, all of the rights activism and everything that he stands for, then does movie Ice Cube and Friday and all this stuff and West Side Connection, and he has
Players
a song.
Club soundtrack.
Exactly. So I heard him on this episode. It was the 30th episode of the fucking fuck me, I sound like a retard right now.
It's all good.
It was the 30th anniversary of the Straight Outta Compton episode on the Beats One radio show. And Ice Cube calls in, and he not only confirms that as soon as all the paperwork's done on Friday 4, it's done. They're making the
Thank
shit.
God,
they're
man.
just signing contracts and shit. But he's talking to DJ Pooh, and they're like, "Yo, you played this record the other day," and he's like, "Oh, you can play it if you want." And he played it, and it's called The New Funkadelic. And it reminded me of kind of like the Bop Gun, George Clinton.
I was gonna
Ice
say, man,
Cube.
Bop Gun's one of my favorite songs ever. It's they have that 11-minute fucking version. Oh man, I could listen to the whole thing and be happy.
This is pretty cool for being 2018 and 19.
Don't be stingy.
Can you guys hear it?
This is new?
Right here on the Pharmacy World Premiere.
The Pharmacy
World premiere.
You know the beat so sweet like booty meat.
It's that brand new. So sweet.
You know the beat so sweet like booty meat.
Fresh out the box. Like booty meat.
You know the beat so sweet like booty meat.
Turn this shit up.
You know the beat so sweet like booty meat. No matter who you meet, you can move your feet.
Come through bumping that new Funkadelic. That new Funkadelic. Come through bumping that new Funkadelic. That new Funkadelic. Ice Cube got that new Funkadelic. That new Funkadelic. Ice Cube got that new Funkadelic. Better one go tell it. Got an uncle named George. Horny motherfucker always down the orge. Freaky motherfucker want a Georgie porch. Treat a big booty like a smorgasbord. Freaks on the flow. Freaks on the flow. How many of y'all freaks on the low? Freaks on the flow. Freaks on the flow. How many of y'all freaks on the low? Pharmacy, baby. What's up for the evening? I ain't in the tricking.
And now he's doing that Big 3 shit too, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With all the old basketball players bringing them back out,
Right.
still balling.
Still
I'm in
balling.
the tricking. I'm in the treat.
Yeah, Ice Cube definitely get a good shout out on this show for sure.
You know all about that party life. Party life. All about that party life.
No, that was perfect because you said always good on the show. You can fade out when you want, and then we'll come back with this. January 20th, in the year of our Lord 1992, was Ice Cube's Good Day. Yo, MTV Raps was on the air, It was a clear and smogless day. Beepers were commercially sold. The Lakers beat the Supersonics, and Ice Cube had no events to attend. January 20th.
January 20th, 92.
Yeah.
1992. That day will live in infamy. That's one of the greatest days of all time. So I'm glad that day happened.
Well, fuck, man.
Thank God the Lakers beat the Supersonics that day, or that song would have never happened.
Never happened.
We don't even have the Supersonics anymore.
I think they'll bring him back eventually.
Shout out to Gary Payton.
GP, the glove. That's right. I actually just sold one of his jersey to my buddy. I had an old Gary Payton jersey, Sonics jersey. Yep. And it was just too big for me. I couldn't wear that shit. It's not like it's 1992 anymore where the jersey goes down to your fucking ankles and shit. But that's a good mention, Duff, man. I like it.
Ice Cube?
Ice Cube.
Yeah, man.
Oh, yeah, it was hard to leave him off the list.
You guys got any honorable mentions? Orange?
Nah, I think most of my choices were probably most likely honorable mentions, if we're talking, because a lot of these choices I would have agreed with. But, I gave some shout-outs to the albums I remember listening to that I enjoyed, in the Pulsar with my homie.
The Pulsar.
Gotta love it. He had the Pulsar, I had the Dot.
Fuck you, man. It was great to have you.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming through.
Yeah, anytime.
I know the shit runs long. Sometimes they're a little more tight, but we'd love to have you back.
Oh, man, let me know. I'll show up.
That'd be cool.
That's right. You did a fantastic job, my friend. He had a lot of good knowledge, and I'm glad you came. Thank you very much.
Love music.
So when do the KD11s come out?
They're available now.
You can get the 11s now?
Yeah.
They just have one colorway or two?
I think 2 available at least right now.
And then they're going to do like the other ones and just... I call them the Kylo Rens. They're the all black ones.
Yeah.
And then I have the red velvet.
Okay.
Those are the 2 that I have.
I got, as far as my KD 10s, I got, I think a black on black kind of white marbled a little bit in there.
Yeah.
Not the super white, but and then I got a pair of the Black History Months.
Oh, what's that? Oh, red, black, and green?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. And they're like the, it's fly knit, right?
Yeah. Fly knit upper and then the zoom on the underside.
Yeah, it almost kind of looks like a sweater, the way there's all those little flecks in it, or a sweatshirt or something. Yeah.
I don't have any fly knits yet. I was thinking of getting the Jordan 1 fly knits.
They're comfortable and light, especially for up here.
I got the Jordan 1 fly knits, the Jeters.
You do?
The
Those are fly knit?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen those. Yeah,
those are.
That's nice.
I got some of the black and royal fly knit ones.
Yeah, those are the ones I wanted. Either that or the red ones. Obviously, I don't know. Do they make any more fly knits for that?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'll look for you. I'll try to track some down, man.
All right, man. That'd be cool. Any of them. I don't give a fuck. Yeah, let me know. Absolutely.
It's good.
Yeah. Well, hey. Thanks for spending some time with us here on LSU. Lacing shit up. Thanks, Duff, man. Get that echo going. I love it. Hopefully you tune into the next one from the OutHouse Productions. It's been fun.
Hey, shitheads, if you were listening tonight and you're loyal and you made it all the way through the show and you didn't know what the hell was going on, feel free to hit me on Twitter at Mr_Orange25. I'll do my best to try to we'll bridge the gap. These guys, I am very proud of you guys tonight. I thought this was awesome. I think this is going to be a great show. Good job, guys.
Thanks, man. Thanks for the OutHouse, man.
Yeah.
OutHouse.com.
We love the OutHouse.
OutHouse.com.
OutHouse.com. Hit us up on Twitter. I'm at JT_Fresh with a 3, not an E.
I'm at Duffman916 on IG and the Twitter.
Got any social media you want to spit, bro?
No, man. I'm secretive. I got it out there, but I'm secretive.
Yeah, that's baby steps, man.
Yeah.
Keep it chill, man.
That's why we all have ridiculous names.
Yeah,
that's right.
It's all good, man.
Well, hey, everybody have a good night. We'll see you next time on Lacing Shit Up.
Yeah.